By 323 BC, a single ruler controlled a continuous landmass stretching from the Balkans all the way to modern-day Pakistan. But to understand the scale of that empire, we have to look back at where it started, here in Macedonia. To his subjects, and likely to himself, Alexander was a living deity. He had spent over a decade in relentless, brutal combat across the globe and had never lost a single battle. But that aura of invincibility shattered during a celebratory feast in Babylon. Mid-toast, Alexander was struck by a sudden, agonizing pain, forcing him to collapse and be carried away to his bedchambers. A supreme military commander who routinely rode headfirst into enemy spears and survived countless frontline engagements was entirely immobilized by an invisible, unknown attacker. The scene of his final days was right here, inside the ancient, sun-baked walls of Babylon in Mesopotamia. His sudden deterioration triggered immediate geopolitical terror. Alexander had no clear heir, meaning the largest empire on Earth was suddenly teetering on the edge of a massive power vacuum. This event is often referred to as his Rahasamayi mouth, his mysterious death. To this day, medical professionals and historians fiercely debate what exactly happened in that room. We are going to bypass the ancient mythologies and treat this event as an active forensic investigation. By cross-referencing historical accounts with modern medicine, we can try to unmask what really killed him. This chart maps his 12-day symptom progression from royal diaries. Following heavy drinking, it begins with severe abdominal pain and escalating fever. The fever persists, worsening into bodily failure. He suffers complete immobility and finally total loss of speech. The immediate theory was foul play. Alexander's inner circle of exhausted generals were desperate to stop his endless campaigns, providing ample motive for assassination. Conspiracy theorists suggest that someone slipped a lethal agent, like white hellebore, a highly toxic plant, or arsenic into his wine that night. But the forensic timeline pushes back against that idea. Standard poisons available in antiquity caused incredibly rapid, violently fast deaths. A grueling 12-day physical decline does not fit the profile of a toxic agent. While a political assassination plot makes for an intriguing story, his symptom sequence points away from a poisoned cup and strongly toward a systemic biological killer. The marshy, swampy environment surrounding Babylon was a notorious breeding ground for deadly pathogens, making infectious diseases like malaria or typhoid highly probable suspects. However, the ancient texts report an incredibly strange detail that complicates a standard fever diagnosis. After Alexander was officially declared dead, his body allegedly did not begin to decompose for 6 full days. For centuries, this was cited as proof of his divinity, but modern epidemiology offers a different explanation, a rare neurological condition known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS. In Guillain-Barré syndrome, the immune system attacks the nervous system. Paralysis creeps from the extremities towards the torso, leaving the brain conscious. With respiration reduced to imperceptible levels, Alexander likely remained awake as men prepared his burial. This specific medical diagnosis replaces the ancient mythology of a miracle with a chillingly rational, scientifically backed reality. Because we do not have his physical remains to extract and test DNA, definitively proving whether a microbe or a rogue poison ultimately caused his illness remains a scientific impossibility. The immediate aftermath of his final breath, however, is not up for debate. Almost instantly, his surviving generals turned on one another in a vicious, bloody war for succession. This violent fragmentation permanently destroyed the unity of the Macedonian Empire, drawing new, fractured borders that dictated the politics of the ancient world for centuries to come. In the end, the Rahasya mouth leaves us with a profound historical reality. A commander who conquered every army placed in front of him was ultimately defeated by his own biological mortality.